Yeah, guys, it might be chilly outside, but here on the ice behind me tonight, things are going to be heating up. The Ohio State Buckeyes roll into town for a two-game stretch against Michigan State here inside Munn. Puck is set to drop at 7 p.m. Yeah, Mikhail, it seems like every day there's a new giant apartment complex or even a new restaurant like Snap Pizza here to my right going in on Grand River. But through it all, this little sliver of a brick storefront, the Curious Bookshop, has survived it all. And they've even got a couple of books on sale this morning for just 50 cents and $1. But back in March, this little shop story nearly came to an early ending.
Hasta ahora ha sido un camino muy difícil para los muchachos. Todos los partidos afuera de Tulsa, uno que duró 2 días gracias a una tormenta, pero todos son resultados positivos. 2 empates, 2 victorias y el mejor comienzo en toda la historia del club.
Mel Tucker, he jumps into the position just hours before signing day. I'm sure so much was going through his head. What do you make of how well he's handled being thrown into the position, especially with the way Michigan State wants to get that program back to prominence? Yeah, Taylor, I mean, no question. Just 1 win in their last 5 games altogether. But hey, the team packed up and headed down to Nebraska Thursday night to take on the Cornhuskers and try to turn this thing around. Back and forth action all night for the majority of this one, but we get started with who else? Cassius Winston. He holds up behind the arc, lets fly, bottom of the net for Cassius to give Michigan State 18 halfway through that first half. How about Xavier Tillman showing off the hand speed defensively, kicks it to Cassius. Watch this little slip bounce pass. Tillman with the jam, takes flight and slams it, gets that Michigan State bench fired up. How about Jack Hoiberg getting involved offensively? A little step back J for him. Michigan State would hang on, pour it on late to win it 86-65. Here's Kyle Arns and Gabe Brown after the game.
The Wolverines are in town here in East Lansing for the biggest game of the year, one that seems to always live up to the hype. It's Juwan Howard in his first year as a head coach for the Wolverines, and for Michigan State, they have a lot to prove here today. 3-0 last season against Michigan, 2 of those games competing for Big Ten titles. The Wolverines, of course, without their leading scorer, Isaiah Livers, here today. Tip-off is just an hour away. I'm Joe Freihofer alongside Griffin Stroin. We'll bring you post-game reaction and analysis after this.
After an 8-game win streak that included a career high for Cassius Winston against the University of Michigan and 5 double-doubles for Xavier Tillman over the stretch, everything unraveled this past Sunday when the Michigan State Spartans fell to Purdue over in Mackey Arena, making it their worst loss of the season, 71-42. However, this side here, this coming Friday inside the Breslin Center, has a chance to respond when the Wisconsin Badgers roll into town for a 7 p.m. tip. Twice a week, the club meets here inside Dem Hall for a little indoor hockey. For that, all you need is a set of wheels and one of these.
I never know from one day to the next what I'm going to be coming across.
Life these days is filled with uncertainty.
Talking about yesterday or tomorrow.
But if you're Ray Walsh,
started selling books when I was a student at Michigan State.
You're used to it.
And kept on doing it for a while. That's, I guess, 50 years.
For 50 years.
I wasn't really planning on doing it, but it's been an interesting way to make a living.
Doing this, running the Curious Bookshop, a sliver of a storefront in downtown East Lansing. Over the years, he's given the shop some unique decor.
I still find things every day that are unsettling or humorous or, just penetrating in general, you know.
He's 70. It was never a part of the plan to slow down.
I'm planning on living another 30 years anyhow, but then I'll be 100 and it'll probably be time to retire.
Nothing could end this bookshop story.
Are you all set? Yep.
Except a global pandemic.
It's scary and strange times, and we really don't know what to expect.
Well, obviously the concern of will we make it goes through your head.
COVID-19 forced the shop to close for 2 months, but Ray's employees didn't want a chapter like this to end the shop's story. So they started a GoFundMe and raised over $27,000.
Without it, we really would not have been able to survive.
It was really just like a bottom-up sort of like, let's try to do this thing.
Yep, thanks for stopping by.
But it's about more than just saving the shop. It's about saving the moments with the people.
I'm missing a lot of familiar faces, some who have passed away, some who have moved.
The experiences.
You won't come across a dusty paperback that'll, just bring you back someplace. And that's why, we got to keep these places here.
That give each turn of life's pages its meaning.
Thank you, have a good one.
In East Lansing, Joe Freihofer, Focal Point News.
In a place that's usually reserved for horses,
it's one of the biggest shows.
Today,
It's reserved for those who love trains. Some people like to describe them as
an addiction.
while others say they're
Really, 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 really awesome.
We expect over 3,000 people to come to the train show. We expect everybody from ages 5 to 95 here.
People of all ages have come out and packed the pavilion behind me. Hundreds of vendors, over 500 to be exact, and countless model train setups such as the Z-Track, a special type of mini, well, come on, I'll show you. It's a model train on a scale so small it could fit right in your own living room.
How are you?
David Wentworth has spent more than a year on his display.
It's sort of fun and miniaturization, but you can do a nice detailed scene.
Everybody from the vendors
We got up at 4 a.m.
down to even the furriest customers
You ask anybody in here, they'll remember her before they remember me.
has their own special reason for coming.
When you're at home and you're packing, you think, oh dear, this is a lot of work. And then you see the kids and the expressions, and it's worth it.
For Stacy Lamb, her reason is family.
I'm a very family-oriented person, so it just like it almost brings me to tears just to be able to do this.
As a child, Stacy's grandma helped her to chase her dream. But a few years ago, everything suddenly changed.
Before she got sick, she saw it at least once, so that was very nice and comforting. I'm gonna lose it here in a minute, but
Each piece brings back a moment, a memory.
every single time I put a brick together, it's like grandma's with me.
And every time a little kid's face lights up when it makes its way around the track, chances are her grandma is probably doing the same thing.
It's just nice to know that, in a way, she's still here.
In East Lansing, Joe Freihofer, Focal Point News. November in Michigan means it's a time for change. Not just the colors of the leaves, but the face of a nation.
Stressful, anxious.
Election day.
I don't know, it's kind of like a bigger deal to vote this year, it feels like.
Tensions running high like they are with the election.
Our opportunity to vote, it's our voice, so we have to make sure we use it wisely.
And voting in a way we've never seen before, with mail-in voting at an all-time high. Very few students on campus, and fears of the coronavirus.
It was a little surprising to see that it was no line at all.
No lines at all at the MSU Union.
It's been slow.
At Brody.
To see it's kind of dead here, especially in the epicenter of campus, where it should be really busy. It is weird. It is different.
Or at IM West.
It was very shocking. I thought there would be more people voting. I think it's a very important election for a lot of people, for a lot of minority groups. I'm Latina, so it's very important for me.
With the coronavirus taking center stage, it's been a very different election year.
I think we were all going through a really hard time this year. Oh man, it was a very disappointing year.
But a chance to
be there for each other. I think that's one thing we've all taken out of this pandemic and this crazy time, is just to be more caring, respectful, and kind to each other.
Each other coming together.
I just hope it brings unity.
Certainly some unity at some point, in some way.
The leaves seem to reflect Yanni's philosophy, all falling in different directions right now.
It's very sad to see this huge country can be so powerful, just break down into pieces when we can be so much stronger together.
She hopes one day our country can look like a tree in the spring, with all the leaves holding on together. In East Lansing, Joe Freihofer, Focal Point News.